Welcome to Wholesale Hotline, where we cover everything to do with wholesale real estate. I'm Jamil Damji.
I'm Brent Daniels.
And I am Pace Morby.
And together we cover the most important parts of wholesale real estate.
Lead generation.
Conversion of sellers into contracts.
And dispositions. Guys, remember when you're watching this show, do us a favor and squad up in the comments.
Make sure that you are liking and subscribing to the YouTube channels and in the Facebook group Wholesale Hotline.
Most important, we want to know we're doing a great job for you and helping you build your business. So go give us a review on iTunes and or Spotify.
So squad up and enjoy the show!
Here we go. Wholesale Hotline number 77. I am one of three hosts today. I'm Brent Daniels, Mr. TTP, Mr. Talk to People. Next to me is the world famous, can't be stopped, Jamil Damji, America's #1 handsomest and most successful real estate wholesaler ever created. And soon we'll have Pace Morby. Pace Morby's going to jump on here in a couple minutes, and we'll be rocking and rolling. But let's give a big shout out to all of our Olympians out there. America took home 113 medals. Absolutely fantastic. We're going to give them a little one of these. Very exciting to watch that. And we are on a mission to answer 113 questions on this show.
I love it.
We might get to 13, but excited. I'm very excited about today's show. We're going to get it. This is going to be very, very, very deep into question and answer. So guys, we need a lot of involvement here. We need you to ask questions. We need to know what you're working on. We need to know if you need help figuring out, is this a deal or not a deal? Or if you want to hire somebody, if you want to fire somebody, if you want to grow, if you're trying to get your first deal, we want to hear about it. But most importantly, make sure that you are squatting up in the comments. Let everybody know where you are working so that you can squat up and find people that have that crazy brain, just like you, that want to be successful real estate entrepreneurs and know that the foundation of that is sourcing discounted properties, which essentially that is exactly what wholesaling real estate is. So, Jamil, how's your week been? Talk to me. You look great. I mean, you've been super busy. How you feeling?
I feel fantastic, man. I just had a really enjoyable weekend in Flagstaff. The whole time we were there, we were like, you think Brent's here? Were you there?
I wasn't. It was like one of the only weeks that we didn't go up. We should have, but we didn't. There he is.
Yo, thank you guys. Sorry, we are starting 32 new LLCs for the Profit First model with all of our businesses, and the banker showed up a little bit late, and Cody coordinated it. I am so sorry, but I'm happy to be here.
Well, you made it, brother. We are just warming it up for you. So I just said that, you know, we're going to be answering a lot of questions on this show. We don't have anybody else jumping on here. So we're going to get back to old school hotline style, rapid fire question and answers, which I think is going to be really cool. But we're just kind of catching up on everything.
Love it.
Wonderful. Is Pace's connection a little choppy, or is that my connection that makes Pace choppy?
That is Pace. It looks like he's a little bit choppy. It's a little bit, a little bit blurry. I mean, listen, it's, you just turned mine. Oh, it's tough when, your internet has to get through 12,000 square feet of a house. You know what I mean, Jamil? I mean,
I'm
it's just
hardwired, dude.
There's a lot of Wi-Fi that has to go in and out of these really nice, beautiful, stone fireplaces and stone ceilings and, brick and everything. So, it's tough to get really crystal clear internet on when you live in a mansion. It's.
You know what I love is that ever since Pace moved into the mansion, he now has like 30 people in the house all the time. Like you go to Pace's house and there's like 1,000 cars parked outside. There's 30 people inside doing stuff. You don't even know. He doesn't have a clue what they're doing. I'm like, Pace, who are these guys? He's like, I don't fucking know. I don't know who that guy is. I don't know who he is. I don't know why he's here.
I guarantee you there's somebody squatting in that house. I guarantee you somebody's squatting.
There's a guy who just showed up. He's like, you know what, Pace has no idea what I do, or I don't even know if Pace knows who I am, but I know who he is, and I'm moving in.
There are parts of that house Pace has never walked through.
Oh my gosh, it's so funny. Amazing. Yeah, but you were asking about the weekend. So Pace and I went up to Flagstaff. We took the kids. It was just super enjoyable. It was a necessary time out. We got to just enjoy the children, enjoy the fresh air, enjoy the cooler weather. Nothing like it. There was, we didn't do any work actually. It was amazing. We did a little bit. Pace did. I tried not to do any work. Pace was still doing stuff.
Oh, really? You're right, dude. Even Laura was like, I'm turning my email off. And I was like, damn, I feel like Brent for like one day right now. Like, he's so smart. I think my big goal in life is to get to Brent's schedule, because it is an absolute amazing thing to truly, like, Jamil, I'll let you finish it off, but we just did 2 days of basically no work. It was amazing.
It was fantastic. It was fantastic. And my daughter's visiting from Canada. And yeah, and so she got to hang out, and she got to experience hanging out with her dad and Uncle Pace and Aunt Laura and her god sister and brother, and all that was fun, man. It was friggin' the best.
Awesome. Well, let's get it. Let's get this thing fired up. Let's get everybody get some questions going. But before we do it, real quick, I wanted to ask you guys this, because I'm just really curious. Jamil, you had touched on it a couple weeks ago about how you're even increasing. I mean, it's been a big year. It's been the biggest year in my wholesaling real estate business. The deal sizes have just kept increasing and increasing. Has it been the same for you guys? What are you guys seeing? You guys are obviously doing a show with flips, and you guys are doing a bunch of flips. But outside of just the traditional flip, how are the wholesale fees, and what is that looking like? And what do you think the national average is, Jamil? You would know better than anybody.
So right now, our assignment fees, wholesale fees are up. You would think. And I'm reading comments in the chat, and there's a lot of chatter. Just, my market's saturated. Market's too hot. Sellers want too much. Yes, all those things are true. Market is hot. There's lots of people doing this. Sellers want a lot of money. Remember, guys, that we're looking for a different type of seller, and we're looking for a different type of product. That person, the people you're talking about, the sellers who want full retail, the wholesalers that are flying in and out of the space, that's always been happening. That has always been happening. What you're finding now is that there's more people that are entering into that retail space, but those same people that have distress, that are having difficult life situations, that need liquidity in their life right now, that need a problem solved, they exist. They're not going anywhere. And those situations that they have in their life haven't magically disappeared because we have a hot seller's market. Those problems haven't disappeared. They still have unfinanceable houses.
Yep.
They still don't have the funds to make the repairs that are needed in order for the house to sell. Right? These are still things that they're dealing with. They're still dealing with bankruptcies. They're still dealing with divorces. They're still dealing with terrible tenants. I just walked a house with Pace on Friday of last week. Thursday or Friday of last week. Worst effing house I'd ever seen in my life. And Pace owns it. Last 2 years, he's been trying to kick these people out. Right? Bro, the pool was so full of trash that you literally could walk across the pool.
Oh, no.
There were 7 people living in suspended hammocks in the back tool shed.
Wow.
Yeah. So problems are always going to be there.
Yep.
Your job as a real estate investor and as a wholesaler is to get out there and solve the problems and not focus on the heat of the market, the retail pricing. That's what you don't want to be focused on. Focus on solving problems. Focus on making contacts. Focus on the basics. Remain consistent at the basics. You'll never make more money in this business than you will today. Our assignment fees are up. Our transaction volume is up. Everything is up, 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 up. So why would you wait? What are you holding out for? Right?
Yep.
This market crash that you might be hearing some educators or influencers in this space talking about, my thoughts are isn't coming. Not in the next 12 to 24 months at least. When Wall Street takes its bet off the table, start thinking the other direction. Wall Street's bet's still hard on the table and they're doubling down. When they're creating false demand, which is what they're doing. Look, and I'm sorry, I'll get off my soapbox in a moment.
I love it.
We just sold a flip. Okay, Laura, our amazing real estate agent, helped us sell it. We sold this flip to an iBuyer. I'm not going to name them, okay? But we sold this flip to an iBuyer. And the iBuyer paid so much money for this. Like when we listed it, we like overlisted it. Okay, we overlisted it. They came in even higher than what we list, $25,000 higher than what we were listed at. An iBuyer, okay, with non-refundable earnest money.
Explain what an iBuyer is, Jamil.
Silicon Valley home buyers. So open door, offer pad, one of those types.
Zillow.
Okay? Zillow, okay, just an iBuyer, a Silicon Valley.
So not a hedge fund.
Not a hedge fund, an iBuyer. iBuyer buys our property, okay? And we're like, okay, you know what? Yes, they paid $25K over list. They're going to hit us with a retrade. They're going to renegotiate after the inspection. Then, after the inspection, there's no ask for a price reduction. They didn't ask. Nope. Why do you think that is, Brent?
Because the market's going bananas. They figure if they just hold it long enough, they'll make their 3 to 6% on this clean property that you flipped, and they're happy with that. They do that 2,000-3,000 times a year, and they probably only lose $30 million.
Well, here, I think you're right there. But I did a little bit of research because I was perplexed.
Yeah.
Why did they do that? Why weren't they trying to get a discount? Come to find out, they're a major stakeholder in that area. Overpaying for my comp property just raised their balance sheet.
They made their other deals go up.
Every single one of them.
Got it.
Every single one of them. They added $15 million to their balance sheet by that one dumb purchase.
Yep.
Guys, false demand. That right there is an example of false demand. If I have ever seen it. Okay.
Yeah, because now every homeowner thinks that's the new comp. That's what they're going to list their house for. And then every buyer is going to be like, well, what have the comp sold for? Well, this one sold cash for $330,000. This one priced at $340 is decent. I mean, you can even get funding on it. You can get a conventional loan. You don't have to buy it cash like these guys. It's going to be great. Wow. Okay. I get it. I see the game.
Until they take the bets off the table, we're up to the right.
Yeah.
That signals to me right there what the heck is happening in the market.
So just to make this clear, so you put out a property, it was bought over the list price by one of these iBuyers because they own other properties in that area that they're fixing up and going to put on the market. And they want to use this as a strong comp when they go to sell the other ones to a conventional buyer. So they can make money on these 10 or 12 that they bought 4 months ago, lose money on your deal, no problem, because they're going to make it up on the other ones that they bought. Woo! Oh, can you imagine that boardroom?
Bro, this is chess to the finest, man.
It was genius watching Jamil actually figure it out, actually. Like Jamil doing the math and going, look what they're doing. Look at all the properties that they own. How much do you think they made on just our purchase alone?
$15 million.
Yep.
Crazy.
They overpaid by $25,000 to make $15 million.
Right.
Freaking crazy.
Well, now they can, they're probably in negotiations with another, 50, 100, 200 homeowners around that area that want top dollar for their properties, and top dollar 30, 45 days ago is going to be a lot less than what it is once they set this comp up. So really interesting. And by the way, guys, they're buying it cash. They're buying it cash. There's not, I mean, unless the government sees some funny business there, they're not doing anything wrong.
Nothing illegal about
They're
it.
not inflating appraisals. They're literally, they're paying what they want with cash. So, wow, really interesting. Really interesting. Well, how does everybody in the group here benefit from that, Jamil? What do you think the lesson is there?
Demand is not first off, let the fear that you're walking into a business model that's being A, eroded by competition, or B, that's disappearing because of seller sentiment being a little bit too high. Take that off the table. Take that off the table. That isn't a procrastination excuse. That is a thought that is being sold to you from influencers to sell courses.
Yep.
Okay, I'm straight up. I'm telling you, that's what's happening. Be very mindful of the information you're allowing to enter your mind and watch the evidence instead.
Love it. Well, and there was even, well, let's get to Brittany. You got that pace? Are you all set up there? It looks like it's a little bit more clear.
Can you hear me?
We hear you, yes.
It's a little faint, but we're good.
Okay, dang it. I just restarted my computer and it still sucks. I'm so sorry. So, Brittany, I put a link in the side chat, and the link that I put in the side chat is last night's episode of Sunday Service, where I broke down a deal that I bought from a TTP student, $50,000 over retail. Okay, so I bought a mobile home park in Yuma, Arizona, $50,000 over retail, and I gave the people who brought the deal to me an assignment fee. They assigned a seller finance situation to me. Basically what it was is there was a TTP student that went to one of my students. They squatted up, and I paid my student $30,000 for an assignment fee on a seller finance assignment. So many people say to me, I want to get started in wholesale, not creative finance. I'm like, do you not realize that you can wholesale creative finance deals? In fact, if you would have bought that deal, the transaction, the contract was $600,000 with the seller for 35 unit mobile home park. Okay, 35 units, $600,000. The assignment fee paid on that was $30,000. If you were a wholesaler only and you were looking for a cash transaction, you would have had to buy that at $400,000, and you would have only made a $20,000 assignment fee. Isn't that interesting to think about, guys? Is that you can get a big, fat, juicy assignment fee on paying full retail or more, as long as the terms are really good with the seller. So my cash flow on that mobile home park is $6,840 per month net cash flow to me in my pocket after paying the seller payment, after paying my management fee, my landscaper, my vacancy and repairs, my CapEx, my blah, 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 blah. So the way that you make money on a seller finance transaction is the same way you make money on a wholesale transaction.
Look at Michael there. I'm that TTP student. LOL.
Oh, is he? Oh,
right
I'm
there.
that TTP student.
Hey, listen, we don't make stuff up. This is all just real life. Really awesome. You know, Pace, did you connect with the guy yesterday on that sub 2?
I did. Yeah. He's got 2 deals, one deal in New Mexico and another deal in Texas. The deal in Texas is a deal that I told him I would actually buy it, but he's taking the seller currently through a loan modification.
Yep.
So the seller's behind on payments. And I told the TTP student that once the loan modification is done, I am his buyer.
Love it.
So that's so funny because Michael, I've never met you. You and I have never spoken, but you squatted up with one of my students. My student brought a strategy you brought the lead. You knew it wasn't a good lead for a cash transaction, but it doesn't mean you can't wholesale, and it doesn't mean you can't TTP. My students, I buy a lot of deals from TTP students, and my students now say TTP means take to pace.
Oh no! Don't you rebrand it?
No, we will not. We won't rebrand it. But I just love that our students are collaborating with each other so much that wholesaling is wholesaling.
Yep.
You can wholesale sub 2. You can wholesale creative finance. You can wholesale seller finance. You can wholesale novation agreements and all of the cool,
interesting things. If a seller wants too much money, there's buyers out there willing to pay it. Now, Jamil made a good point last summer. He said, here's what's going to happen. Because of the pandemic and because of this, all these things are uncertain times, people are pulling their cash out of their investments and they're putting their money into housing because it's the safest investment. So you've got people like me that really just want to acquire real estate. I want to own real estate. I will pay top dollar for it as long as it comes with terms. So if you guys find a deal that is the seller wants too much money, stop thinking that's a dead lead. Stop thinking that's a dead lead. Squad up with sub 2 students in the comments. We've got nearly 400 people watching live right now. You have plenty of people to squad up with.
Can I answer this?
Yeah, I'll tag on the tail end. Go ahead.
CEO Wealth, I appreciate your comment here. He says, she says, I've been a real estate investor for over 2 years now, and I'm disgusted with the number of new wholesalers who are unethical, lack integrity, and giving out bad advice. Who can I report them to? So here's what I think you do. I don't think you report them to anybody. I think what you do is you bring them into your fold and you show them the right way. Look, the facts are is that everybody's just doing their best to survive. Everybody's trying to earn a living. Everybody's trying to make it happen. If you you take the most villainous person in your life, your biggest enemy, the person you think sucks the most, okay? And if you actually peeled back the layers of what their life really looked like and the struggles that they go through and the pressures that they have and the people who love them and the people that they love, you'd stop seeing them as a villain. I promise you that every person that you think sucks has a side of them that's beautiful and amazing, right? So rather than report these people and have them kicked out of the business, bring them into your fold, show them how to do it with integrity. People learn by example. People learn by you showing them, look, what you're doing here doesn't make sense. What you're doing here is unethical. What you're doing here is putting people in a bad situation. And I know you're not a bad person. I'm assuming the best for you. I'm assuming that you have a heart of gold, that you want everybody to win, that you want everybody to benefit from you being in a transaction. So let me help you do this in a better way. That's how you do that, CEO Wealth, is you be the example and you help change the game. You help change the way that people behave and pave the path for that.
That's right. And listen, like I've been hearing, it's not the last couple of years. That's been since I got into it. Since 2013, I've heard that same exact thing. There's too many people coming in. There's too many unethical. This has been going on. That's been probably since the beginning of time. But remember, you just know yourself. You just can control yourself. You can just improve yourself, right? So it's not going to go away. It's not like you're going to be able to round everybody up and it just goes away. Just go out there and do what you do. Keep the blinders on and look at how do you improve every single day? What are you grateful for in this and that, right? Can't go negative. If you go into that negative spot that there's too much competition and they're doing nasty stuff out there, that's a weird place for you to then move forward and evolve and get all the incredible experiences that you'll get, like improving every single day. So don't just rely. I mean, I get it. Trust me. We've had some real scoundrels in Phoenix, like some real. But I will tell you this, they don't last long. They just don't. At some point, they have too much heat on them. And then they go and, start some sort of different business or whatever else. So what I'll say is 100% focus on you. Focus on you, focus on your improvements, focus on what's going on here, because you truly, you don't know what situation's going on. I've had sellers that just wanted to get out of a deal because they got a higher deal, talk a lot of negative things about my company that were completely untrue. So remember, first, you got to communicate and you got to verify before you put somebody in as the devil in the industry. But if somebody has a reputation, they're going to naturally filter through.
It's interesting. Can you guys hear me okay? Can I talk?
Yep, we hear you great.
It's a little light.
Okay, so I just need to talk loud?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize. My internet is hardwired in. I don't know what's going on. It could be, who knows? But anyway, so Here's what happened the other day. Jamil and I yesterday, 2 days ago, we go to a restaurant, okay? Highly rated restaurant, amazing food in Flagstaff, and we have an absolutely atrocious experience, okay? 15 things that would make you boil over with frustration. It was so bad. But at the end of the day, this is what I love about being around Brent Daniels. This is what I love about being around Jamil, is that it brings out a different side of you. So guys, if you don't have friends like Brent Daniels and Jamil Damji, you need to go find new friends. Here's what my immediate thought was, is I was like, should I tip this person or should I show them how bad they are by not tipping that person? Right? We've all had that experience. In fact, I've not tipped people in the past before because of how bad the experience was. What Jamil and I decided to do is we decided to pay her 5 times the normal tip rate. And we wrote her a nice note and just said, seems like you're having a rough day. Here's a good tip. Guys, I'm telling you that the Jamil's advice for the way to handle wholesalers that are evil in this industry is to take them under your wing and show them a better way. Set the tone, because think about this. If you go to a restaurant and you don't tip a waitress that might be having a hard time, or a waiter that might be having a hard day, or something outside of them happened that was out of their control, you not tipping them now sets a domino effect for the next people in line behind you. You've now made it worse for everybody else. You've set a ripple into the universe. And so it's not that we care about showing that person, but we got to care about everybody else, right? And Brent hit on this really well too. Our industry weeds these people out. And so we don't make it our goal or our mission in life to rat people out or spend our time and energy focusing on that. We just all want to magnetize ourselves and attract the appropriate energy by putting the appropriate energy out. That is one of the main things I've learned by being around the Jamils of the world and the Brent Daniels of the world. Guys, just energy out there and everything else will come back to you.
Beautiful, bro.
Love it.
And I mean, he's 1,000% right. Like I watched Pace do that. He legitimately, tipped 5x what the tip should have been, and writes, "Looks like you're having a hard day," and then gives her an amazing. So it's not like he didn't give the critique that was necessary. Like, hey, we're noticing that you're not put together today. We're noticing that it's hard on you today. But he didn't take the approach of, hey, we're noticing you're a bad person. We're noticing you're a bad server. We're noticing that you suck. We're noticing that, no, it was like, we're noticing you're having a hard day. And here's a new perspective for you. The perspective of not everybody is going to punish you or judge you for having a hard day. Some people are going to understand it and empathize with you, and them being able to take that new perspective and then carry that forward to the next table, that's winning all day.
Well, and you give those other people power, right? Power to control your emotions. Come on. What are we talking about? You're going to control my emotions? You're not going to control my emotions. I've worked hard on being able to control my own emotions, from being a little guy to growing up to going through school, being awkward phase, maturity, losing everything, all this other stuff. And you're going to control my emotions? I don't think so. Hell no. No, I'm in control of that. And I make sure that I stay in control of it by putting really good stuff in, by reading really good books, by surrounding myself with the absolute best people, by pushing hard and communicating, over communicating if possible. So, yeah.
Brent, I have a question. How can being around the right people help me get my first deal or my next deal? What's a right strategy? What should I be doing with these people? Should I just be going out to coffee with them, or what should I be doing?
No, I mean, the number one thing is you have to be out there providing value to the marketplace. All right. And that's either, from Jamil's side, building up a really robust cash buyer database that what they're looking for, and you can provide those deals by communicating with successful wholesalers or people that are out there finding opportunities, but maybe they don't have buyers to be able to do that. Or you're going out and going directly to the property owner and seeing if they would consider an offer, getting all that timing lined up and organizing it so it's a really smooth process for them to transfer transfer title to somebody else. That's what we do. We source real estate deals. And if we're out there and we're hustling it up and we think that we have an opportunity, but we don't know because we've never talked to a property owner before. We don't have thousands of hours of comping. We don't have all this experience. Then you squat up with somebody that does. And then that person takes you under their wing and shows you, and that's how you grow. Maybe you split the deals. Maybe you split the deals for the first 50 deals. The first thing Pace said to me when he came into my office in 2018 was, I sell all my deals to Jamil. And I was like, how many? And he's like, I don't know, 100. And I was like, what are you doing? And it was a wonder. And look at you guys now. So, I mean, that's the squatting up. The squatting up is just getting in there. And first, number one, you need to be on fire and taking action, because then you're a magnet. Number two, be loud on your social media and let people know that you're enthusiastic and have energy about this business. And number three, don't be afraid to reach out to somebody and make the connection and meet up with them and just say, hey, I got this deal. Can you help me out with it?
Amazing.
This one's for you, Jamil.
Everyone that had any, I've seen a bunch of Keegley requests, if for franchise information, or if you want to find a Keegley franchise to work with, send me a DM on IG, and my team in IG will move you to the right place. So send me a DM on Instagram. It's at @JDamji, at JDAMJI, if you don't already follow me, and then send me a DM and we will get you laced up. But I think here's a question for you, Pacer.
Matt Kumar. Okay, he says, so I have a foreclosure house that the son is still living in. However, his parents passed away from COVID, and obviously the deed is in the parents' name. Does this need to go through probate? 1,000% it needs to go through probate. Now, what's interesting is that a lot of people think that a will supersedes a probate. It does not. Even if there's a will that states that the son is the property when the parents pass away, unless it was actually done through it or they had an estate plan put together, a will doesn't actually avoid probate. Okay? A will does not avoid probate. So the answer is 100% yes, it needs to go through probate.
Can you put that Marco one up? And then I got a question for you two guys, if you guys don't mind. Marco, go out there, be loud, go out there and knock on doors. Like literally, if you see an ugly house, go knock on the door and see if the seller would consider an offer. Drive around and get a bunch of those and get the skip trace their phone numbers at batchskiptracing.com and call them up and see if they would consider an offer. That's what you do. The value you provide is, one, you've got the energy and enthusiasm to go out there and do the tough work. And two, you just gotta be a good, nice, friendly person. That's it. Just go kick some ass out there and be nice.
Can I give you guys one piece of advice as far as provide value when you are brand new in this industry to somebody other than a seller? Because we talk about this all the time. Provide value, squad up, do those things. What does that actually mean? About one action step that you can take. One action step, okay? Write this down. Not done a deal. You are wondering if you have any value, or wondering whether your lack of experience will get you laughed at. Let me tell you exactly what I would do if you stripped all my experience away and you only gave me this piece of advice. I would be in the middle of my first real estate transaction in less than a week. Okay. What I would do is I would go to the wholesalers like Brent Daniels, the wholesalers like Pace, or the hundreds and hundreds of successful wholesalers that watch our show. And I would say, let me practice on your absolute dead leads. People that have told you no, people that have told you to check in 5 years, people that have told you they want $5 million for their $200,000 home. Guys, I'm telling you, there are deals in those leads that wholesalers just throw to the side, and you have no risk. These people have already said, I want $5 million for my $200,000 house. Go practice on somebody else's lead. Get in somebody's office and just provide the energy. Do you guys ever feel like, and I know this is the case with both of you guys, but let's talk about this for a second. Do you ever get somebody that comes into your office, Brent? I know your acquisition guy is the guy that I'm going to reference. And Jamil, same thing with you. You ever get somebody that has an energy about them? It doesn't matter about whether they're successfully getting 10 deals a day or not. They just have an energy that changes the dynamic of the office.
Yep.
You guys have those people in your businesses?
Bro, that's exactly, Ronald Carter, who works at our office?
He is unbelievable.
Okay, so he walks in one day. I'm legit going to tell you the impression, right? He walks in super hungry, doesn't have an appointment, but he's just like, yo, Jamil, I follow you on social media. I love your energy. I love what you're saying. I love everything you're doing. My job sucks. How do I work here? And I happen to be there, right? So I'm like, well, let me just walk you right over to the guy that would hire you. So I walked him right over to the guy and I said, hey, I like this guy. He's like, he wears a little bit too much cologne. I'm like, okay, well, that's the note. So come back in for an interview, tone down the cologne a little bit, and let's go. Bro, Ronald Carter is one of our best people in our office. He's slamming $100,000 weeks, week after week after week. This kid's incredible. The energy, that's exactly what Pace is saying. This guy, he walked in with positivity. He walked in with confidence. He knew nothing. He knew nothing of what we did. But he came in confidently. He came in nice. He was friendly. And he came in just asking the humble question, how do I become a part of this? And the kid's life went completely in the different direction. Everything in his life is different now.
Yeah, but he affects everybody else in the office. He affects me when I'm there. He sets the tone at the table. Like, he sits at a table with 6 to 8 guys and he sets the tone. And every time I walk in, I feel that energy. I don't even know how many deals he's doing. I just know that the entire temperature of the room has changed because he's in there. So when Brent talks about getting loud, he's not just talking about getting on social media and talking about what you're going through. He's also talking about get your energy loud, get into a room with other people, express your energy, bring and elevate the temperature of that room up to a higher degree. Brent, your acquisition guy, did he not do that for your organization?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's all friends and family in my company. And yeah, I mean, it took me a long time to get him over here, to be honest. And then you just know anybody that comes in on Friday, any of the TTP family members that are in the TTP coaching that comes and sees Friday are just blown away. They're like, this is their team meeting. Like, what is going on here? This is crazy. And it's not hard to put a smile on your face. It's not hard to look at somebody in the eye and ask them how they're doing and what's going on. It's not hard to laugh. It's not hard to, shake everybody's hand and give people hugs, right? It's just, you become a magnet when you do things like that. You become a magnet when you have a walking positive energy. And that's all it is. That's just leaving all the other drama, all the other bullshit at the door and just coming into the office with enthusiasm, with your head held high, with a sparkle in your eye and a smile on your face. And that goes a long way. It really goes a long way.
It's life-changing. So Caroline, so you guys look on the screen, you'll see Katie King, who's also an Astro student. Katie King is referencing Caroline Kane. Okay, so Caroline is a TTP student that I met, and I immediately saw her energy, her positivity, and I was like, you have to come work at Sub 2. I need you at Sub 2. And she ended up being, and still is to this day, she runs 2 of our Zooms every day called the Daily Dial, and she does role playing with all the students. She has one of the best attitudes, and I get compliment after compliment after compliment of people saying, just Caroline has brought me $1 million in value because of her attitude and what energy she brings to the table. So guys, experience has very little to do with success. That's the crazy thing about what we're trying to say.
Yep.
Stop putting experience as a barrier to your success in your brain.
Attitude's everything. Attitude. I mean, Caroline, and by the way, Pace, Caroline, that's on top of absolutely crushing it out there in her market. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, attitude is everything. Attitude will get you there. Attitude, I'm telling you. Really,
we got viewers in Brazil, guys. Like, we got nearly 500 people on tonight's live. Some of them coming to us from Brazil. How dope is life? You guys are amazing.
Awesome.
Cody Barton is in studio watching us live, by the way. He's taking notes. Homeboy's got a pen and paper taking notes right now.
Let me ask you this, guys. I have seen, and I'm real interested in this. I've seen people do really well picking up Airbnbs. Okay. And I see a huge opportunity, not only for us to sell to Airbnb buyers, which I think is a really smart thing to do because they're way more aggressive. They see a lot more money coming down through a 2, 3, 4, 5 year timeline than they do with just a regular flip, right? They fix it up like it's a flip and then basically turned it into a little hotel, right? And then on the flip side, doing it ourselves. I know, Pace, you've got some. I did it a little bit and then it kind of got a little bit I just didn't stick with it, but I certainly could. And do you see this as what do you guys think about this? What do you think about this big uptick in the Airbnbs?
Our primary exit strategy right now is Airbnb, and that's all over the country. We've got one closing in Georgia this week. We've got one in Lafayette, North Carolina, closing this week. They are. Let me give you an indication. We have one house in Arizona. They rented it out. It's not close to the freeway. It's not close to anything. That's the misconception that everyone has, is that these Airbnbs have to be so close to like a convention center, a sports arena, or the mountains, or some sort of vacation hub. That is not the case. We've learned, especially in this pandemic, people really want to travel and experience a new place. We have one lady in one of our Airbnbs. She's been there 9 months because she just wanted to feel what it felt like to live in Vegas. She can work remotely. Airbnb is on fire because our entire work from environment has changed the game. So that house in Arizona, our sub 2 loan, $1,900. So I bought it hotel. Sub 2 loan, $1,900. I could rent that home out right now for regular rental market for $3,100. Okay. In the hottest month of the year, July, brought in $10,000 in a non-recreation area, not even close to the way, just a regular ass house. It is absolutely on fire. All of our Airbnbs are crushing. There's not a single one that we are not happy with. So for us, for the next 18 to 24 months, that's our main exit strategy. I don't care. We'll pay full retail all day long. Airbnb is crushing cash flow right now.
Love it. Pace, I don't know if you need to switch to your phone or something, brother. It's real choppy. Real choppy. I don't know what's going on. What about you, Jamil?
I'm sorry, I was having a hard time. Or the Airbnbs?
Yeah. Just, are you seeing a lot of your buyers buying Airbnbs as their strategy right now?
Dude, we've got a whole database of Airbnb short-term rental buyers, and there are specific criteria they want in specific cities, right? So we know that if you're an Airbnb buyer in Arizona, you're going to be looking for specific qualities in a property, and if you're an Airbnb buyer in Atlanta, for instance, you're going to be wanting specific properties in specific locations. Guys, find out where there is a higher density of short-term rentals in different major markets and focus your work there. You can even pick up deals close to retail and sell them to buyers. You can sell them to buyers on short-term rentals right there. Look, this is an entire model in itself, okay? You go get a short-term rental map. You go find out where all the clusters of houses exist.
How do you find that, Jamil? Is it just Airbnb?
Right on the website, Airbnb and VRBO, those right there. Just go find where there's clusters of available properties. Then you go find out where those available properties are. And first and foremost, you see what the amenities are, right? For instance, in Scottsdale or in Arizona, most Airbnbs have pools. Yep. Not saying that you can't Airbnb a house without a pool. You're going to get a substantially less amount of money for it, though, right? Even in the wintertime, people want to rent a house with a pool. They think they're going to come to Arizona and swim in the freezing water. They just want to look at it, all right? So we know that pools are necessary in Airbnbs for the most part. Not saying, again, that you can't Airbnb if you're not going to get top dollar. You find out, you make an avatar for what that property looks like. What are the majority, the highest dollar values getting in those specific areas, and then get out there and find those properties.
Yep.
You can just get out. You can find those exact properties by calling for rent by owners in those same areas where you found those short-term rentals. Call those for rent by owner homes and see if they're interested in selling it close to retail even. Then you just hand that over to the Airbnb owner that's short-term renting in that same neighborhood and arbitrage those two, and you've got a business model.
I am telling you, we've been doing it. That's, I mean, I'm looking back now over the last 90 to 120 days of the properties that we sold for the most. They're on Airbnb. They're on, and they look magnificent. But I told my dispo guy, Jeremy, I said, Jeremy, push values, man. If we get anything in the major areas, push values. Anything in Central Phoenix, anything in Scottsdale, which is a huge city, anywhere that's around Tempe. I mean, it is absolutely incredible. You can go a lot more aggressive with the pricing and get it over to the Airbnb guys because they have the funds to buy it and to renovate it, and they don't need to get a return immediately from flipping it. So they're not really worried about the upper comps. They're looking at, what is this cash flow? I'm telling you, it's an interesting way for some of these really, high income people to protect against inflation.
So Derek, if you're trying to figure out what the addresses of the Airbnbs are, what Airbnb will do is it'll give you a general idea of where the house is, like the cross streets. It's not going to give you the exact address, but it's going to drop you a pin as to show you where that property is located. Then you go to batch driven. You use the code squad up and you virtually drive for dollars on that street. You look at the pictures that are in the Airbnb listing. Then you look at the pictures that are on the Driving for Dollars website and you match them up. One house might be renovated and the virtual Driving for Dollars picture might be the old house, but you look at the front elevations and you'll know which of those the houses are. That's how you find the owner of that property.
Love it.
Can you hear me better now?
Yeah. Yeah.
What in the hell?
We'll see how it goes. It's still a little blurry, but we'll get through it. The voice. Listen, guys, we've had over almost 100,000 downloads of the podcast. Wow. I think it's a great way. If you can't watch this whole show or you just want it, in a podcast form, definitely check that out. It's on all the major ones, Wholesale Hotline. I think that we'll expand it over time and do a better job with it. So bear with us. It's on there, but it's on the list of things to do, but we've got most people get it here either live or through the YouTube channels, but we will do a better job with the podcast and it's going to be really good. So make sure that you download that and subscribe to that. And if you can, give us a review, that'd be really awesome. So so talk to me, Pace. Are you going to do more Airbnbs? Do you see this as a long-term strategy? Do you see states going to, you got to get a license to do Airbnbs because there's too many and they're taken away from our hotel and resort business? Like, I mean, San Francisco, some of these bigger cities, there's only a certain amount of Airbnb licenses.
Yeah, Atlanta is one of those states that's going, or cities that's going that direction. Can you hear me okay? Am I choppy?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay, cool. So Atlanta is one of those areas that we're heavily investing in, but are saying that we're going to have to go the direction of being regulated. I have no problem being regulated at all. Here's the thing. Every time we underwrite a deal for long-term hold, we always look at it from a worst-case scenario of if the Airbnb did not pan out, could we turn it into a furnished rental long-term, right? So here's the other opportunities. You've got traveling nurses.
Yep.
You've got airline pilots, stewardesses, those things, corporate, or like they've got traveling professors who go and, teach at college for a year or two. There is a website, furnishfinder.com. Furnishfinder.com, that is a long-term rental website. And that's the route that we go. Not worst case scenario. Worst scenario is we look at it from just a traditional rental. And if we can't do Airbnb, then let's under deal as a traditional rental. Do we still make money? Do we still cash flow? If the answer is yes, we'll move forward with it. If the answer is no, we will not. I don't have a single deal right now that will not cash flow without an Airbnb. They all cash flow without an Airbnb. However, dude, 100%, I would say that 85% of our acquisitions over the next 18 months will have a strategy of Airbnb.
Awesome. Jamil, what's your thoughts on it? You kind of shook your head like, nah.
No, I think Airbnbs are fantastic. I was probably just shaking my head at the question that was in the chat.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. So, do you think that it's something that you're going to think about? Are you going to be putting some of these into your portfolio?
Well, I'm buying a beach house.
Yeah.
In Marina Del Rey, and I'm actually going to buy the entire building. So I'm going to buy the unit above me as well.
Awesome.
And I'm going to try to own as much of the Southern California coastline as possible and turn all of that into Airbnb.
Love it. Love it. Is it the one you sent me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you dog. I love it. I love it. So, okay, good. Well, let's look at this. What do we got here? What do you think about using AirDNA when looking into potential of the property for potential Airbnb? That's really interesting, Shaq. It's kind of funny. I turned 40 at September 1st, right? And I'm not supposed to be looking through TikTok, but it's like really funny and hilarious. I really like TikTok. It's cool. And it checks, like, if you stay on something for longer than, a few seconds, it shows you more of that. So I've been looking at these Airbnbs because everybody's like, I'm making, $1 million, gross on my Airbnbs, and I'm netting like 40 grand a month, and it's fantastic. And it's none of my own money, the whole classic things. And that's cool. But it's the AirDNA keeps popping up. I haven't looked into it. I hear it's fantastic. So I don't know what it's going to cost, to be honest. I don't know what the cost is. I don't know if it's a monthly thing or if it's something that you have to buy for a while. So I don't know. Do you know, Jamil?
It's just like an analyzer. It analyzes what the deal is going to look like on Airbnb. What you would actually rent it for per night. It aggregates all the data of where that address is located, and it tells you what you can expect to rent that property out nightly. I think using AirDNA is a great idea. But Shaq, the better you do in your short-term rentals with respect to amenities and finishes and furnishing, that is going to be how you're going to get the highest dollar value. So AirDNA might give you a value of, say, you can rent a room out here, or you can rent this house out for $300 a night. But if you blow the crap out of that remodel and make it just stunning, people will pay you double, right? They will. And I know it because I do it all the time. I'm Airbnbs all the time, and I'd be in the same neighborhood. I'd be in the same street, and I got this dog crap house that, wants whatever money, and then I got this beautifully renovated home that wants triple. Guess which one I pick?
Triple.
I'll pay triple all day because I want to feel good. I like waking up in the morning and reminding myself I'm not in hell.
Yep. I love it. Guys, September 1st is the birthday. Not yet. I'm still a young man. So September 1st. So a little premature with that. Here you go, Jamil. How do you get around deals that come in, but on the MLS? Would you sign a non-disclosure agreement with the realtor wholesaler? Within his contract, he charges $25K if I market.
Super wonky, right? That's where I was shaking my head, Brent, when I was reading this, because I got the first part, right? So how do you get around deals that are on the MLS? They're amazing, Josh. So Ryan Zolan, he's an astro flipping student. Reach out to him because he did like 30 deals on the MLS in the last couple of months. They were all listed on the MLS, and he wholesaled all of them. So wholesaling deals that are listed on the MLS is not impossible. But there's two circumstances in which you're going to wholesale a deal on the MLS. The first one is it got listed today, and it's one heck of a deal, and everybody's going to be trying to get that deal under contract. That's one type of MLS deal that's viable. And the second type of MLS deal that's viable has been sitting on the market forever, and they've overpriced it. And now you've had a conversation with the real estate agent, and you've been able to get it under contract at the right price for it to be a wholesale deal. It's a significant difference between its MLS listed price and your contract price.
Yep.
So it's got a perception of inherent value, right? So those are two circumstances that you can wholesale MLS deals in. Here's what I'm going to give you as a caveat. Typically, buyers won't want to pay more than $10,000 more than what the property was listed on the MLS for. They just won't. Inherently, they're going to feel bad doing it. They're not going to want to do it. Even though it's a great deal, they're going to say, oh, I could have got it on the MLS for 180 and now you want 230. They're going to wait you out. They're going to try to wait for you to cancel, or you're just going to have to buy the property and then sell it. There's actually a wholesaler in Arizona, Rezamp. They buy only MLS deals, they close them, and then they wholesale them. That's their model, and they crush it. They do amazing. They make all the money. They do so good. So there's lots of opportunity on the MLS. Here's the thing, Josh, I think you got to worry about. This real estate agent who charges $25,000 for you to market their deal, don't market their deal. It's crazy. It's crazy. This person is essentially saying, hey, I don't want to have any help. I don't want to squat up with anybody. If you want to squat up with me, I'm going to charge you $25,000. You know what? Track his deals, track his performance, see if the deals he sends out actually close, and then just go behind him and get his deals when he cancels out, because this person's wonky, right? It's not going to work. This $25,000 charge to market a deal is craziness. But asking a real estate agent to sign a non-disclosure agreement with you isn't going to work either.
Nope.
You got to get an option on the property to have the legal right to market it, or you got to get permission to get the right to market it. Otherwise, it's not gonna fly.
He's back. How we doing?
Back.
Okay.
It's strange because he's like on the internet, on Zooms and on lives all the time. And for whatever reason today, his internet just went. It's all the 30 people he has squatting at his house right now.
That's what somebody said. Hey, the squatters got him. Squatters got Pace. Hey, he might be at his limit for the amount that you can be on the internet.
I think so.
He might be. You might need to call and get like some sort of commercial license for that house, dude. I'm just saying. It might be slowing you down. You might be on what's like a slow upload, Matt?
Slow upload?
Yeah.
For him, anything under 15.
15, bro. Anything under 15. Too low. I don't know what that means. Anyway, let's get back to it. Why don't you say something, Pace? We'll see if we can hear you.
My download speed is 900 megabytes per second. My upload speed right now is like 7. So there's something going on with my upload speed.
Yep. Under 15, dude.
How do I sound though?
Sound good.
Crystal clear.
Amazing. Yep. I restarted my router for the first time in like 4 months. So maybe I need to do that a long time ago.
So let me unpack this a little bit, Jamil. So these guys that are buying on the MLS, do they just have sweetheart relationships with the real estate agents, or are they just giving them what they want and then waiting for the market to take it up? Are they only going after properties that have been on the market for a while and trying to lowball and just run the odds on that? Because I've done all of that stuff and it hasn't been really smooth. So I'd be curious to know if you kind of know anything about that strategy.
Yeah, the first is as I had mentioned earlier, there's two types of properties. There's the newly listed, well-priced, fresh wholesale deal that just got listed on the MLS. And then there's the over 90 days, overpriced, possible conversation to have with an agent, right? Those are the two, in my opinion, that are viable. So the property that's well-priced, that is a wholesale transaction or a wholesale deal that's been listed on the MLS on day one, you want to go directly to the list. You want to go directly to that listing agent and have them dual represent you, unless you're in Texas where it's not legal. You want to have that agent represent you and the seller. Why? Because they're going to get double commission to work with you. So now you've incentivized that agent to accept your offer or to talk to the seller into accepting your offer. Is it super ethical? If they do their job correctly, it's ethical. If they don't, it's not. But you're expecting that the agent's going to be ethical and do their job right and have everybody's best interest at heart. But you absolutely incentivize the real estate agent in doing business with you by allowing them to represent you and the seller. Here's where I see that strategy fail. If someone's like, hey, I'm just going to get one of my friend real estate agents to write offers on properties that get listed on the MLS that appear to be deals. You will never get a deal under contract that way. Ever.
Right.
Ever. You have to go directly to the list agent.
Yep.
The second thing I would do is just scrape the MLS for any deals over 90 days and then comp them. Any house that's been sitting on the MLS for over 90 days is overpriced. Then comp the deal, find out where it needs to be bought, and call the agent and say, "Hi, agent. I realize that you've had this on the market for 98 days, and it's the hottest market in the history of the United States. So you realize that this is overpriced, right?"
Yep.
Okay. Is the seller ready for a conversation that's based in reality? Well, maybe. Okay, great. I'd like to have you represent me in that reality conversation. Here's where I think this is going to trade. Can you go give that offer to the seller? And do that. You'll connect.
Hey, Pacey, can you put on, there was somebody put a comment on there about a deal in New Jersey. They locked it up for $50K. Can we just put that out there so that anybody that, is looking to squat up right there, Michael? Yep. Perfect. Anybody looking to squat up, help Michael out there. He's never closed a deal. So let's give him some love. Let's give him some runway and some coverage there. So, somebody connect with him. Michael, just as people are commenting, or maybe it's through DMs or whatever else, connect with somebody that's great out there. I'm sure a TTP or a sub 2 or an Astro is going to be reaching down. What's that?
Should we comp it?
Yeah, baby. Come on. Absolutely. Let's do it, Jamil. Do you have it all set up and ready?
I can do it right now.
Let's do it, brother. I'll take a look.
All right. Can you read me the address, Brent?
Yeah. It's 1405. I'll let you get in there.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah, no worries. 1405 South 9th Street, Camden, New Jersey. Boom.
Here we go.
All right.
South 9th Street, Camden, New Jersey. This appears to be a row house. It's built in 1910. It's 980 square feet. I'm going to assume it's a 2-bed, 1-bath, just looking at the square footage. I could be wrong, but unfortunately, we don't have that data here. Batch's value estimate on it's about $48,000. And we know it's built in 1910. It looks like it's a 2-story, so that should say 2. And it's sitting on a 967 square foot lot. So I think this information may be a little bit dated or incorrect because it's a 980 square foot property, but it is 2 stories. So there's some issues going on here, but we've got as much detail as we can get. Let's check the comps.
You're a little bit close to the freeway there. Backs up to it. It's got a good space. It's not like right on it, which is good. But it's right back into the 676. And it looks like it's got some sort of big parking lot behind it, which is interesting. Probably not as desirable as if there was something back there. But maybe that's where people park. But I feel like, just looking at the overall.
Yeah, so what's good about this, Brent, is you're right. We are the last row of houses or homes that are before the freeway, but you got this nice green belt right here, creating a good buffer zone for you. Yep. So I don't know that the traffic noise is going to be as oppressive as you might think backing up to a freeway. So that's definitely a plus. Now looking here, we see a lot of sales in the 30s, the 20s, the 45s, the 30s, the 10s. And so initially, right off the hop, our viewer said that he has it under contract at $50,000. I feel like you probably have this locked up at, retail. However, I'm going to look at this 125 and see if there's anything here that makes sense. So we've got a 125K sale, and we've got a 1298 square feet. So it's like nearly 400 square feet larger than our subject property. So let's just take the dollar per square foot here. Not that you can really correlate that. We got 125K. I just want to see what that works out to, divided by 1298. And that's $96 a foot. And our subject is $980. So it's not. It might be usable. That only gets us to about $100,000 as an ARV. Now you've got this locked up at $50K. I think that's probably as high as you could go, but I think you might be in it a little bit high. I think there's a lot of evidence here that says that you got to be picking these things up at, look at this. Now that's from 2019, but that's 21K, right? What's this 47 here? Maybe the 50K contract is good. Brent, what are your thoughts?
There's one that sold in February on 1432 South 8th Street. Which is right around the corner from this one. Similar, but it's a bit bigger. It's 1224 square feet, a 3.5, and it sold for 40,000, which gives me pause. Let me see if it was bought by a real estate investor. It was a real estate investor, bought it for 40,000 at 1,200 square feet, and this is right there. This is pretty close. If you want to look at the address, or just pull it up, but yeah. I think he's tight. I think it's too tight. I think that this is maybe, really nice. There's just not a lot of flips over here, man. There's just not a lot of people really pushing value to get the most out of an 800 square foot, so you're probably at retail on it, to be honest.
Yeah. And I'm just looking over here at some Zillow comps as well, just to see if there's anything that we may be missing. You got some sales in the 80s here, but they're all larger, right? Let's look at this sale here. No, that was updated. Again, it's larger. Now it's from 2019, so it's a little bit of a dated comp. But I mean, I chose it because it's the highest sale in the area.
Yeah,
right? The highest in the area, so that's why.
Yeah, but that should tell you something. If the highest comp was 2 years ago in the area, that's why I always encourage everybody to go after areas that are at least 150 ARV and above, because you're going to get better spreads. And once you get under that $100,000 mark, I'm telling you, that rehab budget really eats it up. You got to get these things at like $5,000, $10,000, $12,000 to sell them for $25,000, $30,000, which I think is probably, a the sweet spot here for this deal. And if you see that one at 40,000, that's the one I was talking about there, Jamil, just right there at the at that corner.
Yeah, I mean, you can't deny that, right? Honestly, Brent, I think the ARV on this is probably about $100,000.
Yep.
And I think that he needs to pick that thing up at like 25 to 30.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, good comping. That was good. I love seeing all the different properties, different styles of property, what's going on there. And, you just got to see, it's something that was built in the early 1900s. Do you have to replace everything, right? Do you have to get in there and get the plumbing upgraded, get the electrical upgraded, take a look at the roof, see how long it's been since it's probably a flat roof, right? So when was the last time that was, taken care of or resurfaced? There's a lot to it. But that's good. Good comp.
On we go.
On we go. Who do we got? What do we got? Furnished Finder. Okay, that's good. Yep. Furnished Finder is another, Airbnb, right, Pace type of thing?
For more corporate rentals and longer term renters, right? So like a lot of the people that are filming and they're part of the crew of Jamil and my TV show they find their places, long-term rentals on Furnished Finder. So it's like 3 to 6 or maybe even 1 year rentals that are fully furnished. You can just pop in, but they really require you to do long-term rentals, not short-term stuff. So if you're somebody who's trying to get away, like I have an HOA that is on my butt on one of my Airbnbs.
Oh yeah.
And so we went away from the Airbnb. We went to Furnished Finder, and now we get people that are traveling nurses that are coming in and booking the house for 3 months at a time. And so I get around those HOA violations, and I get away from the short-term rental stuff because technically it's over a 30-day period.
Yep. Got it. Well, HOAs make it tough anyway, right? I mean, it's very difficult to do some sort of condo or townhouse community, Airbnb, just because, they don't want people coming in and out and parties and whatever else. And so, you should probably avoid those, or at least look at what the HOA says, the restrictions that are on there, for the HOA for the short-term rentals. But I mean, worst case, Pace, if you need to get a license or get some sort of permit to be able to do it, you just apply. And if you can't get it, you just switch tracks.
Yeah, I think we're so used to just, we're in this industry of easy real estate investing where you don't need a license and you don't need a website and you don't need anything to make a lot of money. And I really don't understand the aversion to having a license or a permit or something along those lines. Like I don't understand the problem with just spending a little bit of money to make sure you're above board. Is it a nuisance? Yeah. But so is putting on a pair of pants in the summertime. You know what I'm saying? But I still do it. So I feel like it's just as easy as anything else. Do you guys disagree, or what are your guys' thoughts?
I agree.
I mean, I'd love for everything to be non-regulated, but at the end of the day, if I'm running my business appropriately, then what do I care if there's regulation? All they're trying to do is weed out the idiots. They're trying to, there's bad operators. There's people that, for example, let's say you have an Airbnb and somebody has an accident inside the property at 11 o'clock at night and you're not available. Right. And you're not managing it properly. And these people, have a problem, and you're not like a hotel where a hotel has somebody in the building 24/7. Right.
Yep.
I can understand if a permit or a license would require you to have somebody on call all the time, because there's services for that. Yep. Right. You can source that kind of stuff. And I think those are the things that they're really worried about is the general public truly being watched out for?
Yep.
Right. Now, the bad part of that is that a lot of times they'll overregulate, and when the government gets in, they'll overregulate. And look, I get that, but at the end of the day, we're making a lot of money. I mean, our average Airbnb will net us in our pocket about $4,000 a month. So, dude, you go get two of those, two Airbnbs, you're done working. You're done working. Now you can just go build your portfolio. You get 10 of those. That's like generational wealth. 40 grand a month residual.
Oh yeah. Or hey, how about this, Pace? How about you keep crushing, you keep your income high, you use all those profits to pay off that debt real fast. Now you've got all these free and clear appreciating in the hottest areas in town. That's what's going through my mind. You know what I mean? Like, whoa, yeah. That is interesting. By the way, can we go back, go up real quick? There was somebody that has a deal in Arizona. Let's see what that deal is, because we might want to buy it here, guys. Bobby Montoya, tell us about your deal, brother. Come on, tell us about that deal. We might want to buy it. So put it up.
Another thing I've realized that's happening, and the reason why people are calling for regulation in the short-term rental market, is because people are taking rentals that would have been available to the retail market just as a regular home, and then turning them into Airbnbs, which is reducing the amount of inventory that's available to rent, which is driving rent prices up. And since we have a shortage of inventory on homes, that's making rents even higher. And so that's one of the things that the government's trying to combat is inflated rents because of short-term rentals. And that's something that we've got to, we got to look at as being a real thing, right? I don't know how the government plans to regulate or combat that, but it's definitely a conversation piece.
Can we see what question Christina G has? She's asking us to answer some questions, which I totally understand. So I'm just curious if she has something specific on her mind that she'd like to get answered. Love to do that for you. Sometimes we get off on tangents on exciting things that are hitting our industry, and the answers are actually inside the conversation if you look hard enough, but sometimes it's not crystal clear. So
I'm scrolling up looking for her questions. So just give me 1 second. Oh, here we go. Here's one right here.
There we go. When having multiple offers, for example, buyer one offers 40K, buyer two offers 500. Do we tell buyer one the amount of offer for buyer two? Jamil, you're the master.
Christina, I love the question. I assume that the reason why you have buyers giving you offers is because you don't have a set wholesale price and your buyers are trained to negotiate with you. I would retrain your buyers away from negotiating with you. I don't believe in the highest and best. I think you alienate your buyers when you make them pay highest and best and you bid pricing up. Now, people have different opinions on that. Some folks think that, hey, I want to sell every deal for the most amount of money, and it doesn't matter if my buyer's a little bit salty at me for driving the price up $5,000 or $10,000. But I can tell you on the flip side of that, you definitely hurt your relationship with that buyer when you treat them that way. When they feel like a $5,000 bump in price is worth your relationship with them, they start to take that to heart. And so I don't think creating bidding wars on your wholesale deals is the way to do it. I have a wholesale price on every one of our wholesale deals, and the first to commit to that price and deliver earnest money to the title company is getting that deal. Now, if we get somebody then who says, hey, I'll pay $5,000 or $10,000 more than what you sent it out for, I'll connect my buyer and that buyer together and let them make money. Legit. And I've done it a lot of times, but that's the way we do it. And look, I'm not going to say that we're the best at dispositions, but we're the best at dispositions, right? There's a reason why our buyers come back over and over and over and over and over again. It's because that we know how to handle that relationship, and that relationship is one that is built on longevity, it's built on trust, and it's built on fair business. So I don't think you share. I don't think that you tell other people what other people are offering. I think you have a set wholesale price. And if people aren't willing to give you your set wholesale price, maybe you price it a little bit too high, but never create a bidding war.
Awesome. Pace, you got this? Let's rapid fire so we can get some more questions. Did we get the last one? Did you want
I'll get that one. Daryl Elson, when buying a subject to deal, are taxes prorated at closing, or do taxes get paid in the mortgage payment every single month? Both. When you acquire the deal, any proration of any taxes that are owed at that point, the taxes get caught up or taken care of. Then on a sub-2 deal, every single month you have the taxes involved in the payment, PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance. So PITI, Daryl, it means every single month they get paid when you make the mortgage payment to the seller's old mortgage. Michael Diaz says, tenants won't leave the property, even offered cash for keys, and they declined. Owner took them to court, and they gave tenants till September, and they don't have to pay rent now. I'm shaking my head. Any suggestions? Michael Diaz, join a Zoom with my wife. I believe that you have access to the Zoom. My wife has been able to evict every single tenant, even during COVID. So as these people have talked about how COVID has kept people from evicting, that is absolutely incorrect. You just need to know the proper way to do it. So DM my wife, Laura, and she will give you the answer of exactly how she does it. Brandon Flores. Here's a good one. Got a question for you guys. Brandon actually asked us at the very beginning of the show. Brandon, thank you for being patient. He says, got a question for you guys. Can you assign a bank-owned off-market manufactured home working through a licensed dealer, or do you have to double close? Let me reread that. Can you assign a bank-owned off-market manufactured home working through a licensed dealer, or do you have to double close? You can assign that deal.
Wait, when he says licensed dealer, I feel that he may not be talking about the owned land. I feel like he's talking about manufactured homes that are not on owned land.
Yeah, he's talking about a vehicle, right? So a manufactured home not attached to land is not a home. Do you know what it's called? It's called a vehicle. It truly is a vehicle because where you register them is where?
And
the DMV.
The DMV.
You go to the DMV. You don't go to the county recorder's office. You go to the Department of Motor Vehicles to register a car, or I should say a home that has no land attached to it. Okay. So can you assign them? Yes, you can. I assign mobile homes that are not attached to land probably twice a year. We try and stay away from them because the profit margin is so low. Moving them is sometimes more expensive than the actual cost of them. Think about that. So if you have one, Brandon, give us a little bit more information so we can potentially give you a little bit more detail on that deal.
Awesome. Looks like we got the Bobby Montoya. He's at the property, guys, is right there in South Phoenix off of Taylor, 1530 West Taylor.
What's the price? Do we have a price?
240.
Sounds ARV to me, but should we check it?
All right. It's high.
230 West Taylor.
No. 1530 West Taylor.
1530 West Taylor. Let me just look real quick.
Let's do it.
Guys, if you want to watch me comp houses all the time, check out my comping show on Sundays, Straight Outta Comping.
And guys, in there, I assume that you're taking comments and you're interacting, right, Jamil? I see it. It's always active, right? So you didn't stop that? Okay, good.
No,
same with me, guys. If you don't have your questions answered, you've got 3 other shots throughout the week. On Wednesday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, I go live answering questions for 2 hours. All right. So if for some reason it slips through the cracks here, make sure that you join us. Pace goes live Sundays for his Sunday service. It's absolutely bananas. That could be 5 hours, who knows? Just depends on how crazy he gets going. And then Jamil does his Straight Outta Comping show as well. So ton of opportunities. So make sure that you reconnect. If for some reason you didn't get the answer to your question, there's 3 other ways to get that done.
And if you're not all subscribed to all 3 of our YouTube channels, you're missing out, because each of us have things that we specialize in and talk about on a weekly basis. So take the time out and subscribe to all 3 of our channels. Now, here we have a 1930 built, 1216 square foot, 2-bedroom, 1-bath house. And this specific property has a batch value estimate of $255, which again doesn't mean a lot because we're going to check it. But, this is a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house at 1216 square feet. I do deals in Phoenix all day. And I can tell you, for that size of a house, 2-bedroom, 1-bath, this feels really high at 240. Yep. But let's see what the comps tell us. I just like to change these filters a little bit because it populates with a little bit more information that way. And these filters don't really mean much for what I'm looking at, but I just see that I just wanted more data points. I just want to see more. So looking here, we got a 370. What's this about? Wow. I stand corrected. Look at this. 3-bed, 1-bath, 28 build. It's only 100 square feet larger. What does that work out to? Hold on. What's the dollar per square foot for this? 369, 900 divided by 1374. That's about 270 a foot. Times that by 1216. That gets us an ARV of 327. So Bobby, that's still high. I think you got to be picking this deal up at like 210, 220 at the highest. But there's possibly a deal there. 240 is high, Bobby. 210 is about where it needs to be. And this is the highest comp here, so I'm not even going to bother wasting time looking at other stuff.
Jamil, you're going to recognize that the architecture in this house is way different, brother.
Oh, is it? I didn't see the house that Bobby.
Look at the front, historic build. It's a oh god, like not a ranch.
Cottage, like a cottage style.
Yeah, no, I mean it's not a Tudor, but it's up there. Yeah, I mean it's a much. Yeah.
The house that Bobby has, what is that?
You can zoom in. If you just Google it, you can see the, yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's definitely not the cutest elevation for sure. So a lot of money is going to need to get spent to get it to that space. But, I think it's marginal. I think it's marginal. And in today's kind of climate, somebody might be able to get 230 for that thing, Brent. You never know, dude. You got a 370 comp right up the road. Never know.
I see it. You also got one right behind it at 3. Hold on. Right behind it. Just closed for 257.9 on 1537 Fillmore.
And is that remodeled?
No.
Okay.
No, it looks pretty bad.
I'd work it, Bobby. See what you can find.
Yeah.
It's not terrible.
And what I would do, Bobby, right now is I would look up the owner at Jet Home LLC. They're the ones that bought the one right behind it for $257. I would look at that one, and I would try to find out who the owner is of that company, Jet Home LLC, and I would be reaching out to them right now, brother. Yep.
Brent, I think this is one for you. You love land.
Listen. Hey, stay in the neighborhoods. That's the easiest answer for this. Comp the farmer. I have no idea. Listen, I love land, but land, there is so much. You get farmland, there's so much going on there. Is the government subsidizing that land? Are they subsidizing what's going on there? Is there something specific, a specific crop that's going on there that they have to grow? There's a lot to that. So stay closer. Because listen, your pool of buyers for farmland, I mean, maybe you could sell it to somebody that's surrounding there and they're ready to go, but that is a small pool of buyers.
Pace, what do you think of this?
Oh, if an end buyer asks me how much my assignment fee is, do I have to answer the question, or can I just tell them that they figure it out on closing day? I tell them, I truly do answer it this way. I say, man, I'm so glad you're asking. I'm making $1 million. Are you okay with that? I'm not joking you. That is our answer every single time, because obviously I'm not making $1 million, but it sends a message to them that why should you care without me saying, why should you care? So, oh my gosh, I'm so glad you're asking. We're making $1 million. Is that okay with you? Even if the deal's a $75,000 deal, I say I'm making $1 million.
I would be curious to see if this is a actual specific deal that he's talking about, or if this is just something that he's preemptively, preparing for. Because for some reason, a lot of people just assume that they're going to get beat up and get nervous about it. So I understand the question, but most people don't ask, dude. I mean, unless it's a small town and unless they're like really, really tight with like the 3 or 4 investors that do everything in the small town, it shouldn't be a problem for you. It really shouldn't. And I would just tell them, you know what? I negotiated my pants off. I negotiated like crazy on this one. So I don't know why that would matter to you.
What do you think of George's question here? When you're marketing to probates, what's the best approach? Mailers, text, then cold call? What do you guys think?
Yeah, try it all. I mean, George, it's going to be a small list, brother, so it's not going to break your budget. What I would say is you're going to want to, if you're going to mail them, make sure that you're mailing them every couple weeks. It just depends on how far into the probate process they are and what the courts look like right now in your current area. I mean, I would just call down and see, how long it's going to take to get that through, or talk to the owner and just see how long it's going to take to get through. But you're trying to reach the owner. So I guess, just have those conversations. You just want to hit them every couple of weeks with mail and make sure that you're calling them, and then stopping by if you can.
Pacer.
Is the deed holder or the buyer responsible for taxes and insurance in a land contract sale? So a land contract means that if I buy on a land contract, I am the owner. The person who holds the land contract is the owner. Whoever is the owner of the property is responsible for the taxes and insurance. Now, in a land contract situation, the person holding the deed is much like a car loan. So, Jamil, do you have a car loan on any of your cars? I know I do.
I do.
Okay. Do you have the title to those cars if you have a car loan on them?
No, sir.
Right. So, are you responsible for paying the taxes and insurance on that car?
Yes, sir.
Even though you don't have the title?
Correct.
Right. So that's the same thing as a land contract. A land contract is set up to purchase real estate the same way as you would purchase a car. Just because you don't have the title or the deed doesn't mean you're not the owner of that car. So same thing in a land contract. A land contract is set up the exact same way. You don't get the deed until the property is paid off in a land contract, but you technically are still the owner.
This question was put out to Pace, but I'm gonna answer it because I got a little bit of data point here. So I'm gonna just put my name in there. Hey, Jamil, I know you do deals in Atlanta. What formula are you using to compute offers? So DJ Lighthouse or DJ Lights Out 06. In Atlanta, if it's a cosmetic remodel, you want to be at about 55% of ARV. That's on a cosmetic remodel. Okay, I'm talking nothing huge, no big structural stuff. No fire, no flood, no mold, just cosmetics. 55% of ARV. And if it's a full gut down to the studs, like this is one like turd of a house, you're gonna be at 35% of ARV in Atlanta. Only Atlanta, guys. Only Atlanta. Don't take that and put that in Dallas or put that in Arizona. It's only in Atlanta, Georgia.
Boom. That's it. 90 minutes up, 90 minutes down,
Wow.
boys.
Flew. Dang, man.
Flew, right? Absolutely incredible. Again, listen, everybody out there, if for some reason you need some help during the week, Wednesdays, 10 o'clock Pacific time, 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, Brent Daniels YouTube channel. On Sundays, you got both of these maniacs, both of these superstars going live answering questions. Pace, give them the details.
7 p.m. Arizona time every Sunday service. We talk about creative finance. Yesterday, we talked about a 35 unit mobile home park we purchased with none of our own cash, none of our own credit. And I didn't even have to go generate the lead. I got the lead from a TTP student, and the TTP student squatted up with one of my students, and they made a $30,000 assignment fee paying full retail to a seller with creative terms. So go learn how to structure these terms and squat up with each other on my Sunday service live. Sunday, 7 p.m., youtube.com/Pace Morby.
Jamil.
You guys can find me on my weekly comping show, Straight Outta Comping, on Sundays. It's typically at 5 p.m. Pacific. And bring your houses, your tough to comp houses. Bring anything that you're questioning. I get some comments or questions from people that say, hey, I'm scared to bring you an address on Straight Outta Comping because I'm scared someone's going to go and steal it. Look, here's the deal, right? I would prefer that you get your deal comped and not worry about people stealing your stuff. I feel like it's a safe place when you come to Straight Outta Comping. And so if that's a problem for you, maybe don't send the address or comp it live. But look, this is to get practice. So bring houses, bring addresses that you have the details for, that you already know what the ARV is, and test me or figure out how I get there, right? This is about you putting in the reps. This isn't about anything else but you putting in the reps. Don't allow your fear of somebody taking your deal keep you from coming to the show and learning how to comp. Learning how to understand value is the foundation of wholesale real estate. I can't stress that enough. And guys, this opportunity to do Wholesale Hotline with Brent Daniels and Pace Morby is the joy of my life. I love this so much, and watching you guys succeed and week after week getting to ring that bell for everybody that's doing deals means so much to us. All the DMs we get from you guys that, hey, I watch Wholesale Hotline. I got a ton of free information from you guys through it, and I just made a $50,000 assignment fee. It really is the joy of our lives. So keep getting out there, taking action, and crushing it, because not only are you impacting your family, you're impacting our days. You're impacting your financial destiny, and that is so important. Your children are watching. Your children are watching what you do every single day, and it's important that you show them that consistency, that mom or dad has consistency, has stick-to-itiveness, has the tenacity to get out there and take themselves from an average life to the most epic fucking life that they could ever give you. This is what it's about. Get out there and change your futures. Wholesale Hotline 77. Brent, take us home.
We are out. We love you guys. We truly do. Listen, we all have those unique brains. We all have that fire in our belly. Squad up. The people in here and the people in your community are going to help you grow your legacy, grow your financial freedom. So stick with it. Squad up every single day. We love you guys. We're out.
Later.
Or just say squat up.
So squad up and enjoy the show.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
1, 2, 3.
So